When we look at alpha and gamma mangosteen, they seem to play a major role in inflammation. Inflammation is a big deal. Big deal, big business. Billions of dollars are spent in pharmaceutical companies. The average pharmaceutical company spends $100 billion on average to get a pill to market. That's a very expensive investment before you even know if you're going to make it out there. And you got to compete. And as you know, they want their return on investment like any other business. And so we have a lot of politics now in the arena that have affected the prescription and drug business. When you invest $100 million, you better believe you want some of that back. And so that's a pressure that's out there that's created some problems. And a lot of people are suffering as an attempt at these companies trying to stay alive out there. This is vicious. The medical arena has its own politics, is what I'm trying to say. And so we want to turn the public on to wellness and prevention as opposed to sickness and symptoms. And that is the message. So what we're looking at when we get people on supplements like this, when you get them on the minerals and you marry that with the mangosteen, is a powerful ability to prevent illness in the first place and to slow down and retard deleterious processes in the body before they get to that stage where you're running to the doctor. Here in America, we have a very, very poor outlook on health in the sense that our expectations on the Western model is that 1, we get a symptom, 2, we run to a doctor, and 3, we expect a miraculous pill from Pfizer and Merck to turn around a 40-year disease process overnight. It's unrealistic. I will be the first doctor to point it out. It's an unrealistic expectation. We live in an instant gratification society. We want to push a button and get an answer. And people have been popping pills left and right. And as you all know, this has been a major challenge that we face. So it's a bit unrealistic to have a 40-year process of diabetes or hypertension or MS or lupus, run to a clinic and expect that 2 tablets from Pfizer and Merck are going to fix the problem overnight. And that is why we need a paradigm shift in America. And that is why we need to embrace the wellness boom, and we need to get more Americans on that wave so that they are ahead of the curve, on the front of the 8 ball, and that they are playing an active role in proactive health as opposed to reactive health and symptoms later. What is the database? What is the areas that allow us to look at the papers and we take this thing seriously? Because I'm going to share with you the journals that show this information. The New England Journal, top journal in the country. Biochemical Pharmacology, I'm just going to give you a list of some of the sources where you can find this information. Free Radical Research, the Journal of Enzyme Inhibition, Environmental Health Perspectives, Planta Medica, the Journal of Natural Products, the European Journal of Pharmacology, well known in Germany, very highly touted, and Phytochemistry, just to name a few. These are some of the top journals where this particular plant has been studied extensively. I mentioned to you garcinone E, gamma mangosteen, and alpha mangosteen. These 3 have led the forefront of the research, but as you can well imagine, with 43 xanthones in the fruit, we have a lot of homework left to be done. 6 to 8 of those xanthones have been studied extensively, with those 3 taking the bulk of the focus. But what we see is that inflammation, alpha mangosteen in particular, is a very powerful antioxidant. Gamma mangosteen seems to be able to block the COX-2 enzyme in inflammation. This is huge. This is a big deal. Pharmaceutical companies, just about all of them in the inflammation arena, attempt to block the inflammation pathway and the pain pathway by blocking COX-2. This is an enzyme that mediates pain. Once you can inhibit it, pain and inflammation are dampened and those responses do not occur. A good drug, if it is very successful, will block the COX-2 enzyme selectively, leave the COX-1 enzyme intact so that you can have protection against platelets, kidneys, kidney damage, and other challenges. And this is a major issue with these drugs, and that's why a lot of them have side effects that have killed large numbers of Americans, as you all may have heard about. A lot of litigation where this is concerned. Here is something safe and natural that blocks the same enzyme, COX-2, and does it without side effects. That is huge. That's a home run by itself. The research for that by Nakatani and group from Japan, very impressive. It is perhaps the most impressive paper that I've seen of all of the 14,000. Like I said, you can read all day on this. They basically showed that this is capable of blocking the COX-2 enzyme and leaving COX-1 intact, and is also therefore possible to block pain and inflammation, which is a big arena in health here in this country. Billions of Americans every year, over $40 billion are spent every year in America on pain, over-the-counter medications, prescriptions. This is huge, huge business. And people will not negotiate and will not compromise where pain is concerned. Can you imagine being in pain 24 hours a day without relief, in spite of everything you're taking, in spite of every drug you've tried, no matter how strong, opioids included, with side effects, hallucination, and all the other side effects that come with that, and still being riddled with pain. Just imagine that for 2 minutes, what that's like. And many people live in that arena, and they're looking for answers. And you have your hands on something that is natural, safe, efficacious, and able to help. Surprisingly, it surprised us at the clinic, the types of relief that we saw in pain. And I'm going to talk on that right now. We saw some patients with chronic pain issues that had gone to top centers, that had even gone to pain management centers, that could not get relief. We put a simple fruit in front of them for 2 weeks, and their problems went away. That is huge. You cannot put a price tag on that. It shocked us. It shocked us, and it has continued to shock us, and we've continued to see this response across the boards. Doesn't matter what ethnic group, doesn't matter what age, what race, it made no difference. It was empirical, it was universal. That's exciting. We want the American public to be aware of the power of mangosteen and minerals and what is possible once individuals get it into their mouth. It shocked us. It shocked the doctors there. And we're not talking about pain that you could ignore. Some of these patients had been, like I said, spent top dollars in pain centers and couldn't get relief. So we're excited about that. The other things we saw that excited us were the average 30 to 40 point drops in cholesterol that we saw in this. Average. 2 to 3 weeks. Just about every patient in the clinic. 2 to 3 weeks, average, giving you the average what we saw, 30 point drops in cholesterol. That's huge. We have drugs that are designed specifically for these challenges that aren't delivering those kinds of numbers. Okay, when you add this on to your prescription drugs for cholesterol, you're going to add this on, and you're going to see a precipitous fall in that parameter if you're taking enough of it. Some of you are not getting enough of it. Some people are only taking small amounts for financial challenges, and we want to encourage you to increase your dose if you're not seeing a response. That's something we really push in the clinic because we're trying to get people away from this poverty mentality, the scarcity mentality. We want to shift people to an abundance mentality and a prevention type mode. Once people realize the value of health and the premium of health, it makes sense to spend a few dollars to supplement right now as opposed to waiting downstream and spending your entire income on hospital bills and all the other charges that come downstream. So it's all about priority and seeing the value of staying healthy and spending small amounts of money up front as opposed to large chunks later on in your life. That's the message. So we saw that. We also saw changes in inflammation, as I mentioned, and pain. We saw some issues with